Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about the Marvels. We're going to talk about the budget with the Marvels being a lot higher than people thought it was. And then we're going to talk about some other money-losing propositions.
Yes.
With Disney. So
but before we get into it any further,
please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. If you do, you'll get a woohoo.
Woohoo!
If you're interested in seeing Disney burn down, you can wear Disney's disaster on your chest with this Dismal Kingdom parody T-shirt, not to be confused with the actual Disney castle, which is seemingly on fire now. We have a couple doses of Dismal Disney for you today, so check it out at shopclownfish.com. You're gonna have to lead me through this one, Geeky.
Okay. So yesterday, I think it was Vanity Fair and some other places reporting that the Marvels had the lowest budget of any Marvel movie. It was only gonna be like 120 million, which sounds, or whatever, it was supposed to be like 100. Yeah, it was like really low. They said it was very, very small, like they thought 130. Okay,
right. Which
and
it
I'm like,
cheap. It looked cheap.
But I mean, is anybody actually gonna believe that for a Marvel movie? I mean, 130 million was all it was. Well, it turns out it was more than twice that. So apparently, the actual budget was closer to about $275 million.
Wait, what? For the Marvel, it looks like a Disney Plus show.
Yeah. Well,
where'd the budget go?
Apparently, here Forbes has it in here, and they said that it was going to be. Here's what they broke it down: that the show was over a 2-year period, that they spent $274.8 million, but they did get a $55 million subsidy from the UK for filming there. That takes us down to like $220 million.
Only.
But just still 100 million more than they were saying yesterday, almost 90 million, 100 million more. And then, they have a whole thing that's going on with the box office now that they're not doing well. Their movies are not doing well overall.
No.
We just did today, Mr. Milo had written that they lost at least 200 million on the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, which is a shame, because that was actually one of the best Disney movies this year.
Which is going to lead us into, another video we're doing later about Disney Plus.
Right.
But yeah, they spent about, how much they spent on the Haunted Mansion? The budget was about 150 million, not counting the 150 million part for marketing, and it only did like 110 million worldwide.
Yeah, they sent that one out to die, though. No pun intended. I mean, they released a Halloween movie in July. And there wasn't a whole lot of promotion for it compared to other Disney movies. I mean, they did the Zillow thing, and that was about it.
Yeah, but they didn't. I mean, now the Marvels, the one thing they have in their favor is that Dune 2 got pushed back to 2024, and they got the IMAX slot that Dune 2 had. And people, because of the strike, aren't getting new movies, so they're re-releasing a lot of other movies that were already out into theaters. So people might go because they want to see a new film. But I just don't think the demand's there. And as Ford points out, it's going to have to make at least 440 million to break even, and closer to 650 to 700 million probably to make a profit. I
don't see that happening for this movie.
I don't think people have enough interest. They don't care.
I mean, they're going to be like, well, okay, Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Captain Marvel supposedly made $1 billion because it was leading directly into Endgame.
Right.
And people thought they had to see it. They didn't realize it was actually a prequel. Mm-hmm. And other than figuring out who Carol Danvers was when she shows up in Endgame, you could have skipped this movie.
Right.
It wouldn't have had much effect.
And there were some weird things that went on about, allegedly the theaters had tickets sold out, but they were empty theaters. And they were giving out tickets to people, everybody and their brother, to get them to come, and then counting them as sold tickets. There was some weirdness going on around the sale.
Oh, yeah.
With that movie back when Disney was trying to hit, $9 billion films that year or whatever. Yeah. So they, had lots of money to do some weird things to make it look like it was more profitable than it was. They don't have that money now. But so they need to make at least that much money. So we're talking 600 to 700 million to make a profit, 440 million to break even. I mean, I don't know. And then it's not going to help because you told me about this.
Yeah, so apparently, this is coming from Bounding in the Comics. Apparently, the director's already out there playing the racism and sexism card.
Oh my God! Can we just stop?
Like, this is anti-marketing. We've how many times Does Disney have to learn this lesson that even if people are willing to give your movie a chance, as soon as you play the racism and sexism card and start attacking or demonizing or insinuating that your audience are a bunch of, jigglebillies.
Oh,
or
it's all
something.
men. It's all men, racist white men.
Right.
And then other women who aren't interested just don't exist because you don't like strong women, but then they step up for other strong women who don't agree with them either. Yeah, I didn't see it. So it said that they're playing the racism, sexism cards. What were they doing?
Vanity Fair. This is, was it Nia DaCosta? She said, sometimes as a black woman, you realize that people think you take up more space than you actually do. Your voice sounds louder to people than it actually is, and your tone is more stern than it actually is.
What's that have to do with anything?
Bossing people around on set. Some of the crew members on previous sets she worked on said things are super inappropriate and you'd never say to anyone else because they're so specific to my gender, my race, my age.
What? Well, I'm sure that a lot of people run into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. She had a very different experience on the Marvels, fortunately, in part because she had more power to hire the people she wanted.
So she hired her friends.
Pretty much. Now, look, I definitely am not saying that she didn't get, blowback on other sets. I have no idea, but it's one of those things where, is this going to help sell the movie to normies, or are you gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it is.
This comment here, the thing that I've been most surprised by lately is how much respect I'm getting from these middle-aged white dudes. Hey, you know what? It's because it wasn't that bad to begin with. I'm not going to pull it up, but they were talking about, what's her name from Ghostbusters 2016? Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones.
And apparently in her book, she was talking about all the racist, misogynist men out there and about they were mad because she was, wasn't a doctor on the team. I'm like, no, they were mad because they thought it was racist and sexist that you were the only character that wasn't like a doctorate on the team and you were the only black person. The fact that you didn't have a degree made that they should have made you one of the doctors, made one of them work in the subway to make it more, fair. And that was kind of racist. It was the opposite of what she's saying. However, but they keep arguing this shit. And they're like, I'm surprised that normal people don't act like we think they do on Twitter.
So I think what got me about that whole argument for Ghostbusters 2016, it was so weird. And we brought that up when the movie came out. We brought it up when, she was yelling about the reboot, Afterlife, the true sequel. But it was like, they did this to Winston in the original.
Yes.
And there were decades of like, hey, why is Winston the only guy on the team that's not a scientist?
Right.
And they actually corrected it in the Ghostbuster video game. They actually had him get his doctorate, and it was a plot point in the game. And so then what do? The progressive filmmakers behind Ghostbusters 2016 repeats the exact same mistake.
Right. Then she was complaining, saying that was people being racist against her when they were pointing out.
Take it up with Paul Feig, whatever the hell his name is.
But that doesn't make sense. I mean, the whole thing didn't make sense. She's mad because she said people were racist because they were mad that she wasn't a doctor or a scientist or whatever.
That doesn't make sense.
And I'm like, no, they were mad. It was the opposite because they thought it was disrespectful that they made the one black female character the one who was like the uneducated one again, and it was the opposite of what she's saying that they were saying. And here it's like I'm surprised that I'm getting so much respect from middle-aged white dudes because we're living in a bubble, and everybody kept telling people that if you're straight white male, that you were, I don't need some white man telling me what to do. You weren't actually out there working with people. It could be that maybe they were always respectful and they always would work with you and they always were professional, but because you were listening to Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. Like, are there assholes? Yes, assholes
100%
come in every shape, size, gender, color, identity. Right. But there was such an anti-white dude sentiment in Hollywood for such a long time that might have been just like, you just assume the worst about people, which is kind of racist, right? Just assume that they're going to be awful people because of the color of their skin and what's between their legs. Mm-hmm. Kind of sexist.
That's exactly.
Just saying, just putting that out there.
But they're just going on and on. And I mean, it's really... I'm just tired of it. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I'm surprised that people actually treat me with respect because my bias in my mind was that you weren't going to because of narrative.
So what
that says more about her than them.
So what's going to happen with this? If it bombs, we're going to come back to this and we're going to be like all those white dudes. Yeah, they didn't go see this movie.
Yeah, but then neither did all the women either, or the other kins or whatever, because
Yeah.
People just don't care. It might do okay. And what's going to save it, if it does get saved, is going to be the fact that there's nothing else. You know what I mean? And people want to go to the movies. There's nothing else to really go see. And they just want to go, they want to go do something with their family or whatever. And they'll go see this movie. And it's an IMAX, which it wasn't going to get that before. So those, falling backwards into this stuff because of the Hollywood strikes might save their ass.
That is true. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I don't really have predictions for this one. I don't think it's going to do as well as the original Captain Marvel for a variety of reasons.
I don't either.
And let's face it, Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
That show didn't do well.
No, it didn't. Another one that was worse was
it didn't do well.
Secret Invasion with Nick Fury, and Nick Fury's in this movie too. So I'm like, 2 shows that have major characters in your movie both bombed horribly.
Yeah, that's not a good indicator. This is like, kind of reminds me of X-Files when they did the X-Files movie. Like, that's what this is. This is like the Disney Plus MCU, the movie, and with all these like B-list characters that nobody cares about. Yeah. And we've already done the test marketing. It's called the TV show, and you don't greenlight a movie for a TV show that gets piss poor ratings.
But they are already doing this movie,
right?
And the opposite. With Ms. Marvel, they did everything they can to make this damn thing stick, and it doesn't. And they're even running the shows on regular TV freeform and stuff. More people had access to, trying to make it stick, which it didn't. The viewership wasn't great. It's not gonna work, and it might do okay because, like I said, there's nothing else. Yeah. And if it does, they'll be like, oh, it's because they love the Marvels. We need to do more of this shit. Instead of realizing if it does well, there's a good possibility it's because, if you only have one choice, most people are just going to leave it. And it might do absolutely terrible and if it's even worse, if it still does bad and you had no competition, that's worse. That's worse.
So could Disney cause a natural disaster or something to happen just to be like, oh, look, it was the hurricane?
Oh, yeah. Disney's going to go out and do that.
Because
they'll get out their weather machine. They're hiding. They're hiding in Spaceship Earth. And
Mickey's got the mass device from G.I. Joe under the castle.
That's right.
It just like splits open.
The castle. Okay, the castle. That's funny.
But no, because they were trying to blame like the first, Avatar not doing well the first week on the weather, and they tried. Oh, it's too hot. That's why people aren't coming to the theme parks.
Oh, there's a hurricane.
There's a hurricane. It's like, yes, guys, if we could just control the weather every time a movie bombs, we'll just blame the rain.
It's November, so who knows? Maybe by then we'll have lockdowns because it's around election time.
Hot damn! There you go.
It was the lockdowns, everyone.
It was the lockdowns. Yeah, if people could leave their houses, they would have gone. All of the people that were locked down their houses would have gone to see this movie.
We finally got past the pandemic excuse, and they'll probably start using it again. Because COVID's, there's a resurgence, and that even if there's not lockdowns, the pandemic is coming back, and everybody's afraid to leave their house just in time for the Marvels to fail. So we'll see what happens. I mean, like, I'm with you. It could go either way. I mean, if it would have been normal and there are other movies like Dune 2 against it, oh, hell no, there'd be no way.
Oh, yeah, Dune 2
no way at all. It was going to do okay. But if there's nothing else to compete with other than, like, another Hunger Games movie, I don't think, it depends how much demand there is for people to go to the movies. Is what's going to come down to.
Well, they need to have movies that are worth going to. And it doesn't matter, if the movie's just okay, like anymore, to get people to go to the theaters, like it has to be an event. It has to be an event.
I don't even go unless something I really, really, really want to see. I mean, we used to go all the time. I don't, it's so much easier just to wait, which is going to come into another video we're going to do later. It's just, I'd rather just wait till things came out on Vudu or, streaming services because I'm too busy to go, for one, and two, it's that's just me. I know a lot of people love the theater, and that's cool too. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, I have no desire to see this whatsoever. I'm completely checked out from Marvel at this point. I haven't watched the last couple movies. I don't care. I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to see it. That's fine. If it's for you and you want to go see it, go for it. Mm-hmm. Go for it. But I am not going. So let's wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.